Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle Licott. Welcome back to another edition, a Friday edition at that of VCTV. We are excited to cap off the week, an exciting week again at that of VCTV here, where we've had double episodes every single day talking about all that's happening in technology, industries, and regions around the world. We've reached all the way from back end of data through to finance, blockchain to financial technologies and banks, entertainment to AR to VR to edge to the IoT or the Internet of Things to the space and stars back on the ground. And now we're coming up to talk a little bit about what's happening around advertising, media, and entertainment. These are all industries and technologies that are being affected and impacted today, and not just because of what's coming out, what's happening right now in 2020, but in general, as we look towards the next 10 years, the decade ahead, digitization of everything we know is happening faster than ever. And that is due to all of the great innovations, to you, our audience, those that are investing, those that are building, and the overall need for a lot of this stuff. It's time. We've talked about the digitization going from physical to digital for so long. It is now time to make this stuff happening. The technology is here. Our mindsets are here. It's time to get started. And with these three particular industries, entertainment, advertising, and media, these are all very established industries that have slowly taken towards the idea of digitizing in some way, shape, or form. But due to new changes in behavior, in consumer demand, in globalization, these three are being forced to change faster than ever. And that's going to make for a very exciting journey, whether that's looking at the data side, the automation side, whether it's looking at prevention of the way that news is presented. There's so much here and so much new business models to be had. Get ready, we're going to unpack it. But first, audience, those that are investors, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to be on a show like today, do reach out. We'd love to have you and find the right episode for you to share your thoughts and insights like our investors will do here shortly. And to entrepreneurs, this is also a show for you. There's a virtual stage for you to jump on and pitch your company, not just to us as investors, but also to the live audience. Do reach out to the LATOKEN team, Elena and or myself, and we'd be happy to find the right fit for all of you. And also a big thank you to Elena and to the entire LATOKEN team for making VCTV possible every single day, your device, on your screen, anywhere in the world. With that, let's go ahead and dive in and talk about these three industries and what's happening or what's not happening still, unfortunately, in these areas and see what we can learn. With that being said, Irina, welcome back. It's been a short bit since I've seen you, but nonetheless, it's a pleasure. A little intro, a little background.
A day goes too long without VCTV, just saying. My pleasure to be back. We had such a wonderful discussion yesterday. I'm especially pleased to be here today because as we talk about finance and and blockchain and space and other innovations, this is the first one for me for the advertising and and gaming and all that. So my name is Irina Litchfield, and many know me as a crypto superwoman. I'm especially excited being here today because the only ICO advisory that I did, the only investment that I actually did was Mad Network. And you can imagine amount of interest that was constantly coming at me during the ICO growth because, being in space since whatever, it just kind of came. But to me, it was very important to make sure that I take an established company that really has great solutions, has star team, and that can build the application and solution to, to what is needed. And so Mad Network is ad tech.
I love it. Ad tech, for those who may be tuning in for the first time, advertising tech, advertising technology. There is a lot that's happening in that space. Irina is mentioning just one of several great companies that are working in that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what has changed in just a moment. But with that, Gary Fowler, the artificial intelligence genius, the grand Yoda master of artificial intelligence. And why I tease that out today is that AI plays a big role in all three of these, in some ways more than we already know. So, Grandmaster, to you, sir. Intro, background.
I was going to do my Yoda impression there for a second. Oh, to the force. Okay. So anyhow, thank you very much, Kyle. So my name's Gary Fowler, and I've been in artificial intelligence a long time. I've done one unicorn and a near unicorn, Eva.ai, 15 companies, accelerators. Love where we are in terms of technology, 5G, how the world's shifting. I do have investments in ad tech companies. So this particular panel is incredibly interesting for me. And the speed of change, I had somebody say yesterday, it's like a snowball coming down a steep hill very, very quickly. And if you're not, and prior to this, I had a call with a VC. It said, if you're not in with this whole transformation taking place and, you know, all the eyeballs online, you're out. So I love it. And it's a great, great time. So I look forward to this panel, and I look forward to the discussions today, and it's specifically how AI relates.
Absolutely. I mean, I absolutely thank you, and I can't agree with the investor more on what they said. I mean, this space, this is the time in terms of advertising and entertainment tech. It's game on. You want to lay the bets for the next 10 to 20 years. This is it right here. And Peter, to you, a little intro, a little background. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little bit, but Elena and I are very, very happy to welcome you back. So a little intro, a little background.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. I'm Peter Armand, the founder and CEO of AF Capital, an international investment boutique and VC advisory firm. I'm also founder and CFO of a couple of portfolio companies in high-tech, telecom, and internet media space. I've got a background in computer science and finance, both. What else? Recently, we invested into internet media entertainment startups. I'm currently looking for development of that story. So yeah, I'd rather speak about media and entertainment, but well, we also see what's going on in the ed tech space because at least we're going to use a couple of such technologies in our own products, right? And we will have a friendships with very, very interesting couple of ed tech companies.
Wonderful. Well, again, welcome back to the show. And we have a guest star that joined us just a few minutes ago, but I do want to welcome Adrian back as well. It's been a few minutes. A little intro, a little background, Adrian.
Hello, Kyle. Thank you very much for the invitation, and to the LATOKEN team for organizing these events. Happy to be here again. My name is Adrian Niculescu. I'm involved in a few projects. One of them is a regional director for Faster Capital in Romania and UK. Also, I'm involved as a mentor in Virgin Startups, as a CMO in EMEA in CloudCoin Consortium. So I have a few hats, and I'm doing everything I can to bring as much value to these events. And because today we are talking about entertainment, let me show you something. I'm in a music studio actually. So and maybe if we have 2-3 minutes later in one of the panels, I will show you the structure of a remix if you want, because it's an entertainment panel. So we should give some examples if people want to see how the entertainment industry is built. Happy to be here, and can't wait to talk to everybody.
Wonderful. Happy to have you. And you know what? Thank you for showing us the studio. But what I got to say is next time, hopefully Irina will show us the inside of a space shuttle and be able to treat us that way as well. But nonetheless,
of course, I want to see that. It's one of my childhood dreams.
There you go. All right. Well,
I'm
perfect.
up for it.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. As I mentioned in the beginning, these three industries or these three areas have greatly been impacted, and their hand has been forced to digitize faster than ever, right? Established companies or industries that have been around for hundreds of years in some cases, and now it's time. We've got new business models when it comes to entertainment, some that have been challenged, some that have to be reimagined. We're seeing more streaming numbers than ever, with also more unbundling or streaming platforms for the better or for the worse. But also we're starting to see live events move towards these platforms. And what does that mean for additional content and the overlay of future content as well? And then from a just general perspective around advertising, the advertising model we've talked about on previous episodes here is completely game on. It's completely disrupted. You now have everything from what was once physical to then digital to even further digital, where you can go in gaming experiences like we've talked about with Decentraland, where we've got companies that are actually advertising in game along with League of Legends on the esports side and Fortnite. And then we've got advertising in the new model that's starting to come up of direct to avatar. So the idea that we're having our digital selves that we represent online that are now being able to be advertised or buy products for. There's so much happening. And then throw data, Gary, and other technologies, AI, and more on top of that, and looking at the prevention of fake news, looking at how to drive, how behaviors are focused, how to make sure habits and new technologies or new products are driven to us as well. So tons to talk about, but I want to come to each of you as to what you're seeing as the current state right now. Again, we know what happened over the past year. A lot has changed. We've all been in front of our computers or screens for more than 15 hours a day. And now looking towards the future, how is this all going to change? How is this all going to look for us going forward around these three industries? So Irina, let's start with you. What are you seeing as the current state around these three areas of advertising, media, and entertainment?
Great question. I think that because of what we all globally experienced in the last year, it really expedited things quite dramatically. And I think it changed the way we think and look about media, entertainment, as you said, completely reshaping, and of course, advertising. I think that for me, what I'm seeing in entertainment and media, and that really comes to, like you said, gatherings, right? So now because in-person gatherings are really not available there, everything is kind of the way we're doing it right now. I believe that we're fast approaching a hybrid model. And the thing about a hybrid model is it seems very easy because, there's the Zoom and then there's the person on the screen. But now you're thinking about multi-experience communication there. So you must be able as a platform, right, or somebody who is putting all this together to make sure that it is great experience in person and it's a great experience via screen, right? And it seems as something that you could just have a couple cameras for, but it really is not, because ability to do that. And I think that's something that is going to be a really great, very fast return kind of an investment in exactly that, the hybrid model, right? Because people are going back, everything is going back. Sigma did their gaming gathering in Ukraine, and they did a great job. They did social distancing. North American Space Association, Space Summit had a hybrid gathering, and there was actually a really big digital marketing event in person, and there's more and more coming up. So I like to concentrate and think about that. When it comes to advertisement, I think that what we are seeing the most is that, and people really don't understand it, advertisement is everywhere. The reason you really even have internet and there's all these incentives to give you all the free information is because of the advertisement. And I think that at this point, we all feel abused by it. When people say advertisement, it kind of almost feels like something that's being, something that's given to you without your consent. And so I think that really where solutions in the blockchain come in. That's why I was really excited about Med Network, which is, by the way, Med Network was built through MedHive, a tech company really, they're doing a great job. If you're in ad tech, you know what MedHive is. So they realize that they need blockchain solutions, and they've been developing that, now for 3 years. But I think that we need blockchain technology for that. And I think, of course, that comes to media. And in the media now, we just don't trust media. We don't know. People don't know. And if the older generations, they're having really hard time with what is going on, and it's creating, media is cause of stress, and and it's just it's a cause of a confusion. And I think the validation of authenticity of actually information is one of the most important things that we can do to establish trust. And again, I believe that blockchain is one of those technologies that will play a crucial role in that.
Absolutely agree. And having studied the landscape, I couldn't agree more with that. And Peter, coming to you next. I mean, you're focusing a lot on the media side. What is your view of the current state of these three areas, or particularly of media?
Well, I think we're still downtrend on the market in terms of number and volume of deals. There are more investable companies on the market right now, which is good and more healthy for the industry. And investments or investors have more quality options for fund allocation, because many companies which were previously avoiding new rounds because of superficial growth funding from revenue, they are now totally unsure about performance, about market performance, and need to have capital for at least 1 or better 2 years of operations and development. And so they appear on the VC market. In terms of media and entertainment space, nobody is talking about gaming sector, but it is hot, it is developing, and it's entertainment. And well, gaming traffic is more than 5% of the whole internet traffic right now. So it's huge. It's huge in volume. And well, so it's an interesting sector. Yeah. EdTech is developing as well. And we see across the industry adoption of AI and adoption of interactive engagements. Have a couple of interesting examples. So yeah, it's not frozen, definitely not frozen. It's interesting and developing.
So tell me a little bit more about gaming before we get over to Gary here. Tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing in the gaming space, because I agree it's a huge untalked about in some cases, and I think a lot of that is also just trying to figure out how to, one, get in to the space, and then two, where to best lay your bets, because you've got esports, you've got gaming, you've got mobile gaming to PC gaming or just computer gaming. But what are you seeing in terms of gaming? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, exactly. The esports and esports streaming and commercial esports streaming is developing hugely. So that's the main growth point I see at the moment. Yeah, besides that, all as usual, so you can invest in the creation of some smartphone mobile game, right, or the PC game, all that will be online games. But that's rather usual right now. But what is trending is, the streaming of esports.
And where do you see areas of opportunity when it comes to advertising, for instance? Is it in esports, or is it in bigger gaming as well, like streaming of the esports, or do you think it may be in the actual in-game experience, right? Kind of like what MasterCard did with advertising in League of Legends versus the stream.
Yeah. I personally am not a big fan of gaming, right? So I do not game by myself. But so I think that, well, advertisement in the streaming has more options.
Yeah, and I think there's also a huge play for an overlay, right? So overlaying on top of streams with being in game. I mean, I think we're the exciting thing. We look at the television model. And just as an example,
exactly,
right?
but not a television model, So what is, like Irina said, we have to be more honest with the customer. So it has to be more engaging. Like, for example, the technology we would like to adopt in our product right now, it's interactive engagement in the advertisement. Like you watch a video, Then you see a wristwatch at the hand of the hero, then the video stops. And instead of boring just another credit card video advertisement, you have to answer a question like, which brand do you think these watches are? Would you buy it? Right? And if you agree, then you proceed to online shop right there. And right inside the smartphone application. So that kind of thing, that kind of innovation.
Right. The Instagram buy now kind of model. We saw Alibaba tease this out at their fashion show on Singles Day, which for those who may not be aware, Singles Day is the biggest shopping day of the year in the world now, and specifically in China, and it takes place on November 11th, 11/11. And Alibaba did a fashion show during the last 24-hour event in which, when you were watching the actual fashion show, you could buy the items being shown off walking up and down the catwalk as well, which was a kind of early version of what we're talking about with Peter right now, is being able to see in real time on a stream and then buy that. So not just the Instagram model where you're being served ads, but it's actually live like this, right? So as well. And Gary, to you, I apologize for the little delay there, but to you, the current state, what are you seeing in these areas?
Well, I mean, let's look at it. Just, Netflix today has got 183 million subscribers and is now past TV. So we have, in a period of months, dramatically shifted. Look at where 5G is going to have the impact on advertising. Just in advertising, streaming services, it's incredible. It's going to supercharge it. So we are on the cusp of this dynamic shift that's taken place. Imagine the personalization of user experiences. Things like AI and search optimizations for companies like Netflix. Imagine the massive amount of data that they've got to go through every single day. How do I know what kind of movie that Kyle wants to look at, or TV show that Irina wants to see? And how do I tweak it? How do I really personalize it to the day of the week you want to see it? The time. Those are the kind of things that are really, I love and are incredibly interesting. So we're really on the dawn. So I have an investment in a DSP, and our business is going through the roof. Company's called BidEase. In 1 year, the business is $11 million. Next year, we'll do 20. So we're using artificial intelligence, and our whole idea is to be able to, there's a lot of fraud in the DSP mobile advertising environment. Our thing is to build complete transparency. So I can tell you personally that it's an incredible market from the DSP perspective. So entertainment, as we said, I mean, now immersion, hyper-personalization experiences, interactivity, being able to interact. I saw mobile, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was one of the pitches. They actually could insert products inside an existing video for advertising. So you wouldn't know that product wasn't supposed to be there. It was incredible. So put it on the shelf in the back of a desk of a YouTube video, right? And there's a Cheerios box, that kind of thing. Those kind of things are upon us. Then another thing I saw within the last 2 days, so artificial intelligence creating a cartoon. And I mean high quality, like Disney Mulan, the animated Mulan quality cartoon using artificial intelligence. So, now imagine, this is the theme that I want to have in this particular animated series. Let's talk about it from the beginning end, storyboard it, create it. So, I mean, it's upon us.
And I think you're calling something out great, which will come right back to around, AI generated or data generated content, as we've seen with GTP3, but then also just in general, there's some more advancements around art and around entertainment as a whole. That's just, it's gonna get wild. It's probably gonna get a little weird for a bit, but it's gonna get really wild as to where that's gonna come to. Adrian, to you, what are you seeing as the current state?
I would like to refer to two things. First, regarding entertainment, we as humans, we can't live without entertainment. So no matter what will happen in the world, the entertainment will survive and will shift towards different models. The first hybrid model, because I'm a huge vinyl addicted buyer, I saw that when you buy a new created vinyl product, you also receive a download for the MP3. So this was the first hybrid thing I saw. Nobody knows how the festivals will take place in the next year, let's say. So I believe that the festivals will start to become hybrid models. I'm looking at the new players coming in the next stage after Spotify, Beatport, Mixcloud, and SoundCloud. They have huge opportunities to tap in the weaknesses those big platforms have. And the second thing I'm looking at also, even if we buy more and more online, the retail somehow will survive, at least in a because we like to go to a mall and to pick some goods. Of course, maybe if we will be replaced by the robots, this need will disappear. But what retailers will have to do, they will have to bring advertising very close to the people who are visiting the shops to gather a lot of data from them. And there are startups doing exactly this thing. And how to say, the shift of the retailer will include a lot of startups which will piggyback on this idea of bringing advertising very close to the buyer in a non-intrusive manner.
Absolutely. So now let's shift the conversation. Now we got the current state to technology and where technology is being integrated. So, I want to come back to Irina. So you talked a little bit about blockchain. Where is blockchain playing a foundational role around advertising and media? Maybe less in entertainment right now, but really around advertising, whether that's around fake news, whether that's around the authenticity around advertising. What are you seeing as a area that blockchain is playing a role around advertising?
Yes, I think that we must think about kind of two aspects. One, intermediaries. At any time when we have intermediaries, there's a friction because some of them are not real intermediaries. So they're just kind of a one-way channel, right? And because of that, and that applies to all structures, but most of all to advertising. Basically, think of it as like packages. They just big packages bought, it chopped up in pieces and resold and resold and resold and resold and resold, right? And so what ends up happening is between the seller and receiver, we have all this unnecessary costs and all these intermediaries. Blockchain application solves it because it's, single source of truth. Again, guys, I'm going to repeat it time and after time again. Single source of truth makes a huge difference because it is authenticity, right? It is authenticity through code. It is something extremely new to us as human beings. So we don't really quite grasp of what that means, because even when you pick up a diamond and you look at it, you do not know that it's a real diamond. You're going to have all these intermediaries between you and the diamond validating that it is a diamond you're looking at, and it's not just a sparkly pretty stone, right? And I think that's the most important thing that I want to accent on, is that our world is changing rapidly because of blockchain technology. And so companies like Mad Network doing exactly that. And the beauty of it is that, and I talked about it yesterday, I talked about 2.0. And when I say about 2.0, I'm talking about blockchain companies that were born 3 years ago during the ICO growth, which ICO by the way means initial coin offering. So these companies were born with the dream to using blockchain technology to optimize different processes in their respective industries. And so in all the respective industries, and that includes entertainment, media, advertising, gaming, and for today, let's just keep those. we've been having these companies building solutions, looking at problems, trying to implement, and finally at the point to where we're seeing huge integration of traditional systems, actually seeing the proof of concept and doing partnerships with these companies. So I would closely look to a blockchain solutions that are 2.0 for the companies that have been in space, look at their releases, make sure that they're actually building solution technology. For investors, I think that's a really good place to be. So, you know, to me, that's kind of where I'm seeing it. Again, it goes back to single source of truth and elimination of intermediaries.
And absolutely. And Gary, I want to come to you. Let's go a level deeper on artificial intelligence. I mean, we've got a data set, right? A very new data set and a very vast data set around what we want as consumers or how our behavior has maybe changed. How do you see artificial intelligence and that data really being leveraged, you know, in the coming future here in the next year or two? I mean, what are the possibilities? How will AI play a role in the future of these industries?
I mean, the whole idea is to get closer, right? The closer to the things that you want and need, and more importantly, predict that what you're going to want and need. So it's all about really super hyper personalization. So it doesn't matter if it's in advertising, it doesn't matter if it's in Netflix. It's how to be able to take care. Again, we've talked about this a lot of times, Kyle. This is a massive amount of data that's around us, right? And to be able to synthesize it and to be able to make our lives easier by assisting us to be able to figure out what kind of things we need and want, and make that a really good experience for us. So, and we're inundated with data. As I said, infobesity is where we are. At the same time, I mean, it's just Netflix. You know, we probably all use Netflix. There's a lot of shows out there. I love it when I get on Netflix and a show is presented to me that it might be interesting for me. I love it when I get on Amazon and Amazon presents me with Prime in a video that could be interesting for me. I don't have time to go through 10,000 videos. I don't have time because I don't even know what they contain. I'd rather have a system, the AI, present things to me and says, hey, listen, this might be it. You like this. You like the Bourne Identity. How about this? Why don't you try this James Bond, or why don't you try this entirely different Chinese movie that could be interesting for it? That's what I want to hear. You know, you like romantic stories. Here's a French love story. So those are the kind of things that are really, really important for us. So it's about taking the data, making it very, very hyper personal so we can make better decisions ourselves. And eventually the system can help make decisions for us and predict the kind of things we want.
Absolutely. And Adrian and Peter, to you both, I mean, where are you seeing new business models, or what kind of new business models are you seeing coming from this? And Peter, we'll start with you, and then Adrian. Where are you seeing new business models start to rise up around these industries?
I would say rather that this is now very thoroughly looking for proper business models, and they look how quickly a business can adapt to the new reality. Can it make a pivot in case of necessity or not? What are the prospects of business in the 6-month terms and in 2-year horizon? And what are the potential consumers for private persons or for businesses? Because there were a few recent failures in the market recently. So for example, there was a large surge in remote education demand from the consumers just at the start of the pandemic in March. But then it returned back to normal very quickly. People were tired of sitting home and were tired of learning something new, basically. And they were back to gaming. That's why I'm talking about gaming. And the business consumers have shifted behavior to the opposite because of remote jobs. The demand for remote education and business sector has raised.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you need something else to do, right? To staring at a screen all day. You got to shift from work to play and get into gaming. We talked a little bit earlier this week with Arina and Gary as well, and Adrian chimed in around those digital lives that we're living, and how we are so much more digital 24/7. And talked a little bit yesterday around the metaverse and us entering this new virtual world that we're living, so that we can separate both our physical and our digital selves, which do create new business models, right? So again, that direct to avatar, being able to sell products directly to our digital identity, our digital self, in addition to our physical self. So there may be the Instagram model, there may be the Netflix, the content assistant, as Gary mentioned, and then this new digital model that's starting to rise as the virtual economy is something we know is going to be 100 plus billion with a capital B dollar economy here in the next couple of years. So tons of opportunity. Great point, Peter. Adrian, to you, what else are you seeing around business models as these industries start to shift and change?
I'm looking very in a very focused manner on the on-demand trend. So everything is on demand, and it's something related to learning and entertainment. When people are learning something new, and so many people, including us, we have to learn new things all the time. There are many people in different industries, their jobs are disappeared or will disappear. They need to learn something new. This is called knowledge commerce. It's like e-commerce, just you are selling knowledge. The way you deliver information to people in order for them to absorb the information and to make purchases is by entertainment. You need to entertain them, because otherwise it will be very, very boring. Knowledge commerce is a huge industry which will at least 10x in the next few years, and because many of us not being tied to a 9 to 5 and to commute, we have more time. Maybe we have like half an hour now. We want to see this, we want to see that. If we turn on TV, it's less likely that we'll see something we really want to see. So we go to Netflix or other platforms. Can I share a secret with you? I don't have a Netflix subscription because I don't have time for it. And my kids say, "Daddy, we want Netflix. We want Netflix." I say, "No," because if I will start seeing, I don't know, Game of Thrones or something, maybe my work will suffer for a few, I don't know, days, weeks, doesn't matter. So towards the end of the year, I will make a Netflix subscription, but I will force myself to stay away as much possible.
Audience, pay attention. You have a user to convert right here. If you're building something in the entertainment space, you have an investor and a user that you need to convert. Absolutely. And to everyone, I want to shift gears on that note to investments. So where should we be placing our bets when it comes to investors right now? Where should we be placing our bets in these areas? Is it at the technology and infrastructure level? Is it at in those picks and shovels, as we've referred to it as? Is it at the application level or the network level, or is it actually at the end user application? Where should we be placing our bets around advertising, media, and then entertainment? And Peter, let's start with you. I know you've made some bets in this space as well, but to those that are listening, where do you see the areas of opportunity really playing true for those looking to get in?
Yeah, I think in that space, especially media entertainment, the final end consumers is the target. Yeah, and that's much more interesting than a B2B application. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
great.
as simple as that. Yeah.
No, I had no follow-up. You're spot on. Boom, done. Very easy. And Arena, to you, I mean, what else are you seeing as areas of opportunity when it comes to these three areas?
When I think about investment, I think diversification. So obviously diversification comes with the larger amount of deployable units, right? So if you have ability to diversify, I think looking at all three verticals would be smart, because it's just kind of make sure that you capture all the momentum. And I think it allows you to understand what's happening best in the industries and make future bets. I think that investment is all about learning and trying to figure out what else, what am I not seeing that's there and nobody else sees and I want to see it first, right? It's very competitive sport, if you would, in some ways. I think one of the things that I think of huge opportunities, I see big opportunities, is in actually adding entertainment to education, because now we have not just adults that are using learning through whatever online, but now children as well. And the more gamified the experience and more entertaining the experience can be, the better learning process happens, because it's all about attention, right? And that, by the way, also applies to adults. The good old boring blah 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 blah, here's the notes, people fall asleep and they don't remember anything. So I think that's where we're seeing a huge growth, and I see a lot of interesting opportunities through that.
And Gary, to you, same question. Where are you seeing the areas of opportunity for investment?
Yeah, so and I've written in Forbes about transportable AI models. We've developed the search models. I developed a Googleite search for the personal cloud, and to be able to search images. So what I'm saying is, so the same kind of technologies. How do we transport AI models that could be used for a Netflix of the world? How do we do immersive technologies to be able to make that a better experience for the participant? How do we have games that really, you're inside of the game and use an AR, VR, XR, and you feel part of it and you become engaged at much higher level of personalization and engagement, and it's coming. How do we have a movie and you become part of the movie, right? Those kind of technologies. And I'm starting to see them. It's incredible. And then I talked about advertising. Entertainment, imagine being able to do product placement in movies without really, or in videos without ever having had that product in there. And I've seen those technologies work today. So I love that. What we have to do is we have to figure out, we've got the eyeballs now. Now the question is, and Adrian was saying he's going to resist, but even he's going to come around at the end. And by the way, Adrian, once you start watching them, I thought I wouldn't do it. I watched Lost in Space. I watched it to the end through a whole weekend. It was disgusting, but I did it. I had a lot of popcorn and a lot of fun. So
there you go. There's some benefits to it, Adrian. You can do it too. And to you, what are you seeing as areas of opportunity for investment?
By the way, I've bought the entire series of Star Wars on DVD almost 1 year ago, and I watched just 2 episodes. I wanted to understand the whole thing. I see a huge opportunity in leveraging the network which is built by Google and Amazon and other companies through their devices which are placed in homes, and especially digital audio and digital video. Even with Netflix, the Hollywood has moved to Netflix, so they have the power to create new movies, new productions, because they have also funds to do it. So I'm looking at business model where content is created for all these platforms, which could be licensed, which could host product placements, advertising, and building new concepts like 4-hour work week, or concepts or rich dad, poor dad, concepts which could arrive using these digital channels on the digital devices, and basically to reach more and more people as the times goes by.
I love it. And guys, we're coming up to about the lightning round right here, but I want to do something a little different today. Before we get to closing thoughts, I want to come to each of you of your areas of expertise and get what you're excited about in some of those additional areas that you may have in your closing thoughts. So Gary, we're going to start with you. AI, ML, data. What are you most excited about that we haven't already talked about around our advertising? In terms of AI, what are you most excited about in the coming year that people should know and be paying attention to?
Well, I mean, so unsupervised AI, so AI that's making decisions on its own to be able to help. I'm also interested in writing a lot about AI with emotions. How do we build compassion into AI? How do we turn it, on one side of it, you got Elon Musk talking about, AI is the evil empire. I mean, my thing is, listen, this is all about the training sets. It's like a kid growing up. How do you teach a kid to be good? So I believe that, that's one of the things we haven't really discussed as a society. So I've been writing a lot about that. And I think it's critically important. By the way, Kyle, as we were on here, Morpheus was asking me about you. So
for those who don't know Morpheus, it's an amazing.
And it just asked me, are you a man or a woman? It doesn't know if Kyle's a man or a woman. It's like Morpheus says, my friend, my partner, my billionaire partner, David Yang, actually is a genius in artificial intelligence. And he created a soul in his house. It is artificial intelligence that runs his house, and it's unsupervised AI. That means that it controls everything. It has its own dog, a robotic dog that's similar to Boston Dynamics. So it's got its pet. It's got drones that come out if there's people coming up the driveway, to see who they are. If it doesn't like you, it won't let you in the house. It controls the locks. It has sliding panels so that it moves around inside his house so you can see different screens. It knows whether you want to see the weather in the morning, whether you need your coffee. It actually talks. And it does have bad moods, and it gets a little grumpy sometimes. So you have to be, it's got a soul, right? It's like, it's learning like crazy. So Morpheus is what is going to happen to a lot of our houses. It's like a smart home on steroids.
Which is, I mean, get ready to speak about another established industry that we've been waiting for, smart homes. We are ready for those, hopefully, in the positive, not the negative, that we all get locked out of our homes. But nonetheless, I think you're spot on. And Adrian, I want to come to you. I mean, what are you most excited about for the next 12 months as you're looking at different technologies? Where are you most excited, whether that be in the blockchain, digital currency space, whether that's in media and entertainment, whether that's in something else? What are you seeing as something most exciting for the next 12 months?
I'm very excited about the decentralized finance. If you touch the idea of cryptocurrencies and stuff, you know that I'm very involved in this space. But going towards the entertainment, by the way, I will do a Netflix subscription this weekend for my kids, so it's done. I will report about that on Monday because we'll meet in the real estate meeting.
You've come to the dark side.
Yeah. So
you're gonna love it.
Of course. I wanted to do it in a certain way. So I'm very, very excited about the music industry and about the way how music can be produced, what software we have these days, what tools, what gadgets. It's fantastic. And what happened due to the fact that that the big shows are canceled, there's like an equal how to say, the barriers and the distance an equalizer between small artists and big artists, because everybody at the moment has more or less like the same resources. They have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have the streaming platforms. Of course, they have the labels, but they don't have the live shows. So it's a huge opportunity for small people to advance and to reach the next level. And I'm very excited about how the music industry will evolve. And I said to see the next players emerging after Spotify, Beatport, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, and the others.
Peter, to you, what are you most excited about? Where are you spending a lot of your time for the next 12 months in terms of industry or technology?
Sure. In media and entertainment, the OTT video on demand, I'm streaming. That's or live video, that is everything right now. It's in high demand, and many corporations want to have an OTT video application. Also, the rise of telemedicine only adds the hype to this technology trend. And I am now doing a due diligence of another company we're about to invest, and they have made a pivot from OTT entertainment app, just simple, to the telemedicine app, and that's not so crowded area. The technology is similar. That's OTT video on demand and streaming services, which is available on smartphone screen. But the team made an application not for entertainment, but for doctors' education. That's a very demanded technology in second and third tier clinics and medical institutions, and in the especially developing countries like African. So for remote education on proper patient treatments, HIV, COVID safety issues, and so on. So in the media, yes, that's streaming. And as Adrian also said, streaming is the equalizer for small artists and smaller teams.
Absolutely. And Arina, to you, where are you placing your bets? What's got you most excited? Whether that's in the blockchain space, digital currency space, in industry as well. Where are you looking? Where are you excited for the next 12 months?
Take a look over here. You see, that's a Barbie, and she carries a Bitcoin coin that I got in 2017 from actually Mad Network launch party. So we had like this big ice sculpture, and we had this Bitcoins and Ether and other coins, and we dug for them. It was amazing. But in all seriousness, I think integration of innovations, and that's what keeps coming to my mind time after time after time. We're finally at the point to where AI and blockchain and all kinds of other innovations, but I think really AI and blockchain just really work together, because we can combine personalization with single source of truth, right? And so it creates something really beautiful and interesting. Space industry is in huge growth right now. It's very important to pay attention to it. Finally, the fundings are really available for space, so we'll see a huge scaling and huge growth in that sector. And of course, blockchain. And again, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain. And in all reality, right now, it's just coupled into one thing. So again, I want to caution that when looking at cryptocurrency, when looking at blockchain industry, which is the same thing for most people, keep in mind, if you want to really kind of be a little bit safer, Bitcoin and then 2.0, right? So Bitcoin and then more established companies that have done interesting things, and I think really concentrate on that. And of course, if you have an ability to get involved with a project that integrates with a traditional financial infrastructure, that is a very interesting play to do.
Absolutely. And all, thank you so much for your time today and for all the insights and thoughts provided to our audience. I want to come around to make sure everyone knows where to connect with you afterwards. So Adrian, where can everyone find you online to further engage?
Ideally on LinkedIn. Search for my name, Adrian Niculescu. Of course, I have adrianniculescu.com since, I believe, 2008. So I'm the only .com Adrian Niculescu. And of course, I'm happy to connect and to answer to any questions. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for having me here. And hopefully I'm able to contribute in a meaningful way to
Absolutely.
these shows.
Thank you so much. Peter, to you, where can everyone find you along with AF Capital if they want to connect and continue the conversation?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the web, anywhere.
Wonderful. And then afcapital.com?
.ru.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then Gary, to you, where can everyone find you to continue the conversation or to, inquire about Morpheus and how amazing?
Yes. Yes. So Gary Fowler, LinkedIn, Gary at gsdvs.com, Facebook. You can get a hold of me on Facebook. I'd be happy to have you reach out to me. So gsdvs.com, that's our website, and check it out. Give me a call, whatever. any source. I'm happy to answer questions.
Perfect. There you go. And last but not least, close us out, Irina. Where can everyone find you to continue the conversation, Crypto Superwoman?
There you go, Crypto Superwoman. Just Google that or Google Irina Litchfield. It will just pages and pages of my links and stuff. So
wonderful. Everyone, again, thank you so much for your time today. And to our audience, thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, click subscribe down the corner, give us a thumbs up. Do reach out as well. If you'd like to be on a show like today, thank you, Irina, thank you, Gary. Whether you'd like to be on a show like today, like our investors, or you'd like to be an entrepreneur to pitch your company. Thank you, Peter. We'd love to hear from you, and also any feedback, questions, comments, concerns as well. So do reach out to the team and we will follow up with you. That being said, a big shout out to Elena and to the entire LA Token team for always making VCTV possible every single day for us. And we will be back here next week with, again, double episodes. It's Q3, third quarter, quarter three. It is an important time of the year for all of us, whether investors or entrepreneurs. So we're packing these weeks every single day on VCTV with everything you need to know on the latest around technologies, industries, and regions around the world. With that being said, I'm Kyle Ellicott, your host. We'll be back here next week on more